Welcome to the CrossFit Canada podcast, where we're telling the stories usually of Canadian affiliate owners and coaches, but then also, Midwest. Monica's we'll talk about is from the Midwest. That's basically Canada South.
I grew up in Wisconsin. I was close, right?
Yeah, we'll flip the script. Instead of Canada being the 51st state, we'll include the Midwest as Canada South. But also helpful folks for gym owners. And so my guest today, Monica Hilton from Full Send Content Labs. Former affiliate owner, still coaches, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so before I start talking about you, because that's your job, we always do a question of the day. So you're going to introduce yourself, where you're from, and then I don't, without giving too much away, I know you're a racing fanatic. So favorite race, if anything. So, and not like black, white or anything. I mean, car race.
Got it. Okay. Yes. Politically correct. Obviously it's the Indy 500. But I feel like that's kind of like the obvious answer.
Is there a year? So is there a race? I mean, and this is totally alienating anyone who doesn't watch auto racing. Is there a year that stands out to you?
Of the Indy 500?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, 2005 was the first one I went to. So to everyone else, that's probably like, it's not a big one. To me, it's the first one I went to. It's what got me into the sport. Danica Patrick was in it, and that was cool to me that there was a girl. And so that one was the one that stands out to me. And I will say my second favorite event when I worked in IndyCar was Toronto. I mean, it was for all the Canadian subscribers to your show, if you have not been to the Toronto IndyCar race, it is an event. It is, I mean, there's concerts, there's food options there that are fantastic. If you don't even have to like racing at all for it to be a really cool like destination trip. So love that race.
Okay. And then where are you from, and what was your gym called that you owned?
So I'm originally from Wisconsin. I moved down to Indianapolis, which is where I live now. And my gym was called Together We Rise CrossFit. It was here in Indianapolis on the north side. So sold it about a year and 4 months ago now. So I'm kind of enjoying that non-gym owner life, but there are so many things that I miss so much. And as other owners that have sold their gyms can probably attest, there are plenty of days where I'm like, should I start another one? Should I get back into this? Because I miss so much of
it. For sure. Yeah. And what do you do now to kind of set the scene for why we're talking to you?
Yeah. So while I was at the gym, the marketing plan for me was to create lots of content, and because that's what I love to write. That's basically the theme through my whole life is that I love to write. I have a degree in public relations, and so anything where I can write and I can get that in front of people was kind of my game plan. And as I decided to step out of gym ownership, I was kind of exploring what I want to do. I worked at Push Press at the time, and so I was their content manager and doing all the blogs, helping with social media, email campaigns, things like that. Just things that I love to do that ultimately benefited gym owners. And so when I left Push Press and didn't have the gym anymore, it was like the natural progression to use the skills I have and what I enjoy doing to help other gym owners grow through content. Because I feel like, as you and I have talked about, a lot of gym owners overlook content or think like, I know I should be posting on social media. I know I should have a blog. This would probably help me, but they don't even know why. And then the next step is they don't have time for it and they don't know what they should be doing. So
or let me cut you off too, is like overthink it as well.
For sure. Absolutely. And that can be so overwhelming to be like, if I don't invest 10 hours of my time every week, then what's the point? And I think that's one of the things that I like to get across is if you're not outsourcing it to someone like me, it doesn't have to be complicated. Anything that you're putting out there that is valuable to people will inevitably lead to your gym's growth if you're doing it right. If your goal is to help people through your content, that will resonate.
Yeah, and so we'll get into, that's going to be the meat and the potatoes, but we're 5 minutes in, so we can't go too far.
And done.
Yeah. All right. 15.
Have a good day, everyone.
Because I do want to set the stage a little bit more, because one thing that I am really curious about is your IndyCar background. So you worked in IndyCar, and the reason why it's like that may seem completely parallel to or completely opposite direction of CrossFit, but what do we know and tout about CrossFit and CrossFit affiliates? The community.
Yep.
Right. But I wonder if sometimes we may stay in the vacuum of CrossFit a little too much and just think we're the only thing with a community. But IndyCar is its own rabid fan base from there.
For sure.
So talk about your time in IndyCar and what that looked like and how interacting with people was a big part of it.
Yeah, I think that is the reason that it became something I was so interested in. Back in the heyday of when I started following the sport a little bit, Twitter was really all the rage. And I got involved with this basically community of people on Twitter that also loved IndyCar. And it was so much fun that everybody knew about the sport, knew the drivers, knew the stories. And so on any given race day, we were all on Twitter talking to each other about what was going on in the race. I started a blog called The Race Girl. IndyCar used to be IRL back in the day, the Indy Racing League. So the girl part of it was IRL, IRL. And it was a very unique look at the series from a woman's point of view, and kind of a very sarcastic, like having fun with this. There were so many bloggers out there that were covering the play-by-play or the history of the sport or things like that. And I was like, how can I kind of change the narrative for my blog and say, how can we look at this from a fun perspective? I would always do like dark horse picks. And did you hear that this driver has like a cappuccino machine in his, like, he's so bougie, you know what I mean? It's just, it was so different than what everyone else was doing. And it kind of made me stand out, and that developed its own community. And so to your point, I always say racing is not interesting or fun to watch if you don't know anything about the drivers' stories or the sport. It's cars going around in circles, right? And you can't even see them. The drivers all have helmets on, so like there's no expression. It's just cars going around in circles unless you are connected to other people. And usually that takes somebody to get you into the sport. For me, it was my dad. He grew up in Indiana and was like a diehard IndyCar fan. So when he took me to my first 500, he was like, here's all the stories. Here's the information that you need to know to make this interesting. And I feel like that translates to CrossFit, because most of us don't get into it on our own. We've either heard someone or seen someone with results, or someone brought us into it. Yes, we do get people who like Google it, but rarely have they never heard of CrossFit. So there's this community there. And usually when people have heard of it, it's like, it's not just a workout. My friend goes to CrossFit, and yes, they have great results and stuff, and those people are crazy, but they're always talking about this annual thing they do called Murph, and they're doing, beer with the coaches, or they're doing these fun events, and community is just such a fantastic aspect of it that it's like, we all joke that it's the coaching, the programming, and the community, right? Like that's why you should join CrossFit. But if people truly understand what that means, I don't understand why you wouldn't get into CrossFit,
Well, and like I'm in my head, I'm having been to both, like I'm envisioning the Indy 500 and the CrossFit Games being so very similar, right? And because for those who, and hopefully we haven't lost anyone, but like the tens of people listening are going to be all Canadian, so they might associate something like IndyCar with NASCAR and just America, but two completely different aspects, right? And so, but with IndyCar and the Indy 500 specifically, it starts at 6 a.m. with a cannon a literal cannon that fires off. And that's the opening of the gates for the folks in the infields that can park and go wherever, right? And so, but if because if the CrossFit Games is the like a festival of fitness, Indy 500 is like the festival of IndyCar.
Yeah. And like the Toronto race, what if in this weird parallel
Analogy.
comparison
Yeah.
we're making is like the syndicate event that CrossFit
Right.
just had. It's one of the events on the calendar. And I do remember, especially in my diehard days of IndyCar, uh, people being like, that's the same as NASCAR, right? Or that's the same as F1, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not, but in the CrossFit parallel, that would be like someone being like, that's the same as F45, right? That's
Correct.
the
Or
same as
Orange
Orange
Theory.
Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're all like, no, absolutely. They're not the same at
Well,
all. But
because
to the outsider, that's how it seems, right? It's all fitness.
yeah, and like I think it's important to like and analyze that because the Indy 500 happens at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yep.
The day of the Indy 500, doesn't it become like the 10th most populous region in North America or something for the amount of
It,
people that come in?
Yeah, it's the number one, it's the single biggest sporting event in the world. So it's generally 350,000 to 400,000 people. There's this stat that all my friends were sharing last week or leading up to the race that said on race day, 1 in every 1,000 Americans will be at the Indy 500, which is wild. But it makes for a huge parking adventure
Yeah.
and it's crazy, but you can appreciate it until you are part of it, until you look around and you're like, oh, this is what almost 500,000 people looks like in one spot at one time.
Well, and then to parallel it to your point about CrossFit and F45 being completely different is NASCAR hosts a race at the Indianapolis Motor
Correct. The
Speedway, the
Brickyard. Yep.
Brickyard, right? I've been to both the Brickyard and the Indy 500. The Brickyard is a ghost town.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
considered like a boring race. Like a lot of people don't even really go to it.
Yep.
So it's like I think maybe then for an appreciation of like culture and community, sometimes we as CrossFitters and well more like affiliate owners and coaches need to just branch out to get inspiration from other aspects.
Yeah. I just think sometimes we tend to look at like an F45 or an Orange Theory as kind of I don't know, some of us would say it's a stepping stone to CrossFit, or it's not. I mean, we don't like it as much, right? We think you
Sure.
should be doing CrossFit. We don't think you should be doing Orange Theory. However, there is so much to be learned from the way that those companies do things. Sometimes there's a reason that that Orange Theory has so many members, or F45 has so many members. There's something to be learned. That's why I always say, as an affiliate owner, go take a class at F45 and at
Yeah.
Orange Theory. There are things that you will observe there. It's the same as dropping in at other CrossFit gyms around the world, right? Like there are things in every gym I drop in at that I'm like, that is cool. I did not think of that idea. We could implement that here. And then there are things too where you drop in and you're like, I can't believe they run this that way, or I can't believe they've got
Yeah.
whatever here in this gym. There's things to be learned if you're observing, and honestly, like you do this podcast, connecting with other gym owners who speak the language and know the struggles, know the wins. How are we helping each other out with our own strengths? The knowledge and experience we have in our heads. So you can't. We're not. If you run it on an island, you're going to struggle.
Well, and even like as you know, we throw out F45 and Orange Theory, the sometimes the conversation is like, what is affiliation and what am I getting and what
For
am
sure.
I right? And but yet
Yeah.
here we say is like your CrossFit is the brand that keeps you almost in the conversation with those other two instead of like F45, Orange Theory, and Monica's Powerhouse Strength and Conditioning.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
even just the affiliation without having to give the revenue shares.
Yeah. And and the whole other side conversation is the other things that are branching off right now, like the World Fitness Project, and how is that going to affect this, and what Glassman is doing, and how is that going to affect things, and what's the direction? Ultimately, what are they trying to do? Are they
Yeah.
trying to be the new CrossFit? And so For affiliate owners, it's and based on the events of last year's games and just the uncertainty with CrossFit being for sale, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, and that's okay if things are going well for you and you're doing the right things to be getting people in. You aren't dependent on like the news from the CrossFit Games last year is not going
Yeah.
to ruin your gym. The fact that the World Fitness Project exists is not going to deter you if you are doing the right things for your own growth, you know?
Well, and let's talk about that. Let's change one word, right? Is like uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
Let's change that word to uncontrollables.
Sure. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Great point.
Right. Cause then,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. And you said it, it's like, what's the direction from HQ? What are they wanting us to do? What are they, right? Is like the reason why your affiliation fee is only a certain amount of dollars. It's not that it's insignificant, but it's to give you more controllables. So
Yeah.
that's,
Because
and that's, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's what you do with content is you can control your messaging.
Correct. Yeah. Because it's a fine line, right? If CrossFit comes in and they're like, this is the fee that you're paying, and this is your programming, this is your equipment, this is how your coaches have to say things. Now we've lost the beauty of CrossFit. Right. Now we're a franchise, and that's not what any of us signed up for. So I like the fact that, you are given the freedom, but then when certain situations come along, the nice part is CrossFit doesn't leave affiliate owners high and dry where there isn't messaging. There's the toolkit of marketing stuff.
Yeah.
It's marketing stuff. That's the official name.
You're a professional content marketer here, folks.
Yeah, marketing things. There's the affiliate toolkit that has the resources that you need. And there are plenty of things that they are saying, if you need it, it's here.
Right.
But you aren't forced to use it. And that's kind of, to your point, like the content. If you need it, it's here. And you should be putting it out. If you're not doing it on your own, if you're looking for help, that's essentially where I come in. But anyone can create content on their own. It doesn't have to be the owner. It could be someone on their team, or they can outsource it. You have the choice.
And so before we start getting specific that way, let's get back to content now, because that is your specialty, is thinking about controllables. First of all, when we're thinking content, and I'm going to say we being a gym owner, who are we speaking to, or who should we be speaking to with our content? And let me lead you a better way is, who do you see us normally speaking to, and who should we be speaking to?
This is my favorite number one question when I'm talking to gym owners, because I think it's specific to each gym.
Yeah.
And it's so important to answer this question first before you do anything else. Because let's say that, you've got CrossFit Aurelia and you've got, let's say, a CrossFit gym right next door to you.
Yep.
And you are aiming for a specific population and they are aiming for a specific population. Both of you can be successful. You will probably be less successful if both of you are trying to cast the widest net to anyone possible. So the target audience is like like I always tell gym owners, think about one of your favorite members. If you could clone that person and fill your gym with that person, they are likely your target audience. So that could be like men ages, like in the ages 40 to 50, who used to play sports and, kind of fell off the wagon, but they still want to be in shape. Now, if I have that dude in my head, I am speaking specifically to him with my content. Now, most people aren't going to get that specific. Like, they're not going to be like, we only cater to men. It might be men and women in their 30s to 50s that, used to play sports. They're former athletes. They want to be in shape, but they've done some lifting before. They know how to move their bodies, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could get hyper specific, like stay-at-home moms that are in their upper 20s that, just got married and just had a child and really want to be in shape. And this is the women's only gym. It's like, once you figure that out, you can then speak to that group, because our next steps then are like, what are their pain points? What are their goals? What are the things that I have that speak specifically to those things, so that I can say, I understand you. I have a plan for your success, and this is what it's going to cost you for that
Mhm.
to happen. Because if you've spoken to me and you understand what I'm frustrated with or what I'm struggling with, and you are like, here's the plan, Monica, for exactly what you need to accomplish, I'm like, take my money, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's you've told me you understand. You're gonna guide me through this. I'm not gonna be left to figure it out on my own. What's the question then? How much does it cost, and when can I get started?
Yeah.
But if on the other hand you're like, well, and a lot of times when gym owners are starting out, this is the thought process, I need to get people in my doors, so I'll take anybody. That's I get that. When you're first starting out, I was there and I fully understand that. But if you're trying to cast this wide net that's like, we are fitness for everybody, now when someone walks in your door, like, you've put out content, you've spoken to people with generalities, you've got them through your door, this person walks in and there's an 18-year-old boy lifting in class, and there's a 92-year-old lady lifting in class, and there's every other age and demographic and race and whatever in there, and I'm like, I mean, that one person kind of looks like me, I guess,
Mhm.
versus walking into a gym that's like, oh my gosh, these people are all like in my age demographic. They look like they like, I'm not going to say they look like they're not fit, but like, let's be honest. If
Yeah.
you walk into a room and people aren't in shape and you're not in shape, that's comfortable, right?
Yeah. I call us
That's
everyday CrossFitters. We're everyday
yes.
CrossFitters.
Yes, we're not here to like wreck ourselves. We're here just because I want to be healthier the next day.
Mhm.
And when there's people like that in the gym, because you've spoken to that crowd, that's when people are like, yes, this is my place.
Well, and because so like it kind of branches in, and why content is important is because it branches into sales. And
Hmm.
that's the, maybe it's like content and sales, probably the two things that like every gym owner knows exists,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
hates or avoids or anything. But
Yep.
they're so linked together because all successful sales is a transfer of belief.
Right.
Um, and so that starts with your content. You can start laying that roadmap to have, as you said, you can have Brenda believe that if she joins your gym, she'll get some sort of success because
Yep.
she's seen it in others.
Yeah. You're creating content that answers their questions. And when you know who you're talking to, you kind of know what their questions are. And if you don't, if you have that clone member in your gym, ask them, what were you intimidated by?
Yeah.
What interested you? What got you in the door here? What do you like about it, and why are you staying? Um, but I do like that concept of transfer into sales too, because the content you should be putting out should mirror what happens when they show up at your gym. Um, like if I come in to do a consultation with you, and let's say that your website had a different brand voice than what I would get in speaking to you,
Mm.
um, I'm going to be confused when I walk in. Like, for instance, let's say that you are, which I know you're not, like a hardcore sales dude, right? Like, where you're going to force me no matter what to sign up for
Sure.
a membership. If your member, or if your website, if I went on your website and it was super friendly tone of voice, very welcoming, we everyone's welcome here, doesn't matter what your level is, like, come on in, try a free class with us. And I'm like, okay, this is not as intimidating as I thought it was going to be. i'm
Yep.
i'm willing to book an appointment. So I show up and I sit down with you, Matt, and you're like hardcore, like, here at CrossFit Aurelia, we are all about snatches and muscle ups, and like, I don't care what the weight, I don't care what your form is, I just want you to get that barbell above your head. All of a sudden, now your brand voice is not matching the, like, your own voice isn't matching the brand voice on the content that you've put out.
Mhm.
So you've got to make sure that the whole experience is cohesive, so that it, it's okay if your gym is hardcore and that's the kind of
Yeah.
person that you want,
Well,
but that's what your website should sound like.
it's like if I talked to actually Mark from or Paul from Push Press a couple
Oh
weeks
yeah.
ago, right? And
Yeah.
it's like this is now the disclaimer that we need to put in before we get any deeper is like, you can do whatever you want. That is the
Yep.
beauty of an affiliation. That is what we were talking about. You can do what you want. There are certain best practices, but the best practices is not in the content, I guess specifically, it's in the content alignment with your brand.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right. So you have to, and then even like community, like we talk about community and CrossFit so much, but I always myself lean more towards culture. Your brand is more a representation of your culture.
Yep.
And then you should have the continuity across your brand to your culture to your messaging.
Yeah. Well, and even if you think about, like, most people when they think content, they think words, which
Yeah.
is fitting. That's fine. But your content is also images and videos that you're putting out. So
Yeah.
let's say that in your content, you are preaching community, right? Like, this is going to be a gym full of people just like you. We're here to support each other, encourage each other. The loudest cheers are for the last to finish, you name it. But every image or video you're putting out is like a single person and there's no one in the background. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't vibe. What you're telling me is I'm gonna be surrounded by people and make new friends and things like that. But you've got a picture of like a person by themselves, like working out, where you know that you just took a picture. You as the gym owner know that you took a picture of one of your members doing a movement, and you're like, cool, this is awesome. You know that there are other people in the gym and that the gym is filled with, like, that you took a picture of a person in class.
Right.
But if I'm the person looking at that, all I see is like, well, I could go to Planet Fitness and work out by myself, right? So you have to think about cohesiveness among the images and the videos that you're putting out and the words that you're saying. If community is a big focus, community should be it should be fist bumps and high fives. And if there is a person doing a kettlebell swing or whatever, there's people in the background so that you get the vibe that it's a class, not a personal training session.
Mm-hmm. Or even kind of like, I don't know if folks will recognize, like culturally, like you could post a lot of group shots, but what is the drop in or new member experience
Yeah.
from there? We had some members go drop in to a gym down in Nashville, and he's like, not a single person said hi to us. It's like it could have
Worse.
been
I
a
don't
20
get that.
person, huh?
I don't get that at all. Yes, I've dropped into gyms like that. It's baffling.
And right, and so it's like you could have it be the opposite. It's like, oh, we post all these group shots, or we take a group shot because there's some drop-ins. And we had some drop-ins, but
Yep.
realizing, oh, maybe does my culture match this vibe of community I'm putting out? Like, how far does someone have to go into your gym before someone says hi to you?
Well, I'll give you another example too. I was working with a gym owner recently that, after most classes, they would do a group shot.
Okay.
Like just they're not working out anymore, arms around each other, just we all just had a good time, we're drenched in sweat. I love the idea behind that, but when you look at their Instagram grid and it is full of group shots, think from the perspective of somebody who's about to come to your gym who is out of shape and very intimidated. Now my
Right.
thought is, I have to be in a picture after every workout. I don't want to be in a picture with my family, let alone in my workout clothes after I just got done sweating, right?
Yeah.
So I like the idea, especially with community, of, if you're skimming through someone's grid and there are group shots, cool. Like, yes, this is a community. Put those in every once in a while, but this is not to show like an attendance record. Like,
Right.
think of the perception always with every single post of what people are going to see and think if they have never set foot in your gym before.
Hmm. Now, before we get like too far down the like, think about this, think about that,
Yeah.
where people are like, oh my God, this is,
I'm like, don't make it complicated. Think about all these 19 things.
yeah, don't make it complicated yet. Here we are. So what's some, just let's stay general best practices to start with? Where can someone start with right now? They can put the phone down, or if they can minimize Spotify and take a picture and post. What can they do?
So number one, like we talked about already, is think about your target audience.
Yeah.
So I want to speak to, with my words and my images, the person that I'm trying to get in my gym. So That doesn't mean you alienate everybody else. It doesn't mean that, like we talked about the Instagram grid, it doesn't mean that if I scroll through, all I'm seeing are 40-year-old dudes.
Yep.
Just make that the emphasis. So that, like, that's who I'm mostly talking to, and then including some of the other people in there. I would say if you are aiming for that like 30 to 50 demographic, men and women, don't put shots in there of teenagers working out unless you've got like a teen fit class or something like that.
Yeah.
Just exclude those. Have people that all fit into that wider demographic when you're featuring them in images, and then for the copy part of it, talk to the people. Think of that one specific member that you're trying to clone. Speak directly to that person. Write your words as though you are just having a conversation with them and telling them what you want them to know. Um, Step number 2, after you figured out who you're talking to, is to just create stuff. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
anything, like we always say, progress over perfection.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Just write some messages. Another suggestion I have along those lines, in terms of like just writing stuff, is think of the list of questions that you get at your gym. Think of, just like, if you have an FAQ on your website, or if you have a mental FAQ of like, these are the questions that I get a lot from members, especially when they're getting started. Make a list of those, and those can be like the things that you're making into a social media post. Um,
Mhm.
Post consistently. That's that we'll call it a top 3. So you've got, figure out
Yeah.
your target audience, start creating stuff consistently, or start creating anything. And then oh, my thing just gave me an option to add effects using hand gestures. Apparently
Oh
I'm
wow.
using my hands too much. And then the third one would be to post consistently. And the reason is, yes, the algorithm loves it. That's fantastic. But think about any business or account that you have considered going to. A lot of times, yes, people are going to go to your website and they want to go learn the information there about your business,
Hmm.
but they'll also check out your social media. And if your last post on Instagram was, October of 2019, I might question now whether your business is open, because you might still have a website that you just never closed, but you haven't posted anything on social media in years.
Hmm.
So even if it's like, I mean, bare minimum once a week on social media, just so people are like, okay, if I look at your very last post, I can see that you have done something recently. And then just set yourself, if you can, like, make a little social media calendar once a week for right now, because that's all I can do right now. Everything in my gym is going crazy, and I'm
Hmm.
coaching so many classes and stuff. I'm so overwhelmed. All I can do right now is once a week. At least that's getting you out there. So when people check out your Instagram account or your Facebook page, or LinkedIn, they are seeing some. It's the same with your blog post. To not make it too complicated, but like, a weekly blog post is fantastic. But if all you can do is once a month, at least if I go to your blog page, it doesn't say blog page coming soon for the last 5 years,
Yeah.
you know?
So let's switch gears to that and then tie it all together in a neat bow at the end. Is our blogs still relevant?
Yes, they definitely are. The thing is, there's a lot of information, and I mean, this as an affiliate owner, all affiliate owners know this. We tend to get a lot of the same questions over and over from newer people.
Yeah.
And a lot of it from their end is just trying to overcome the intimidation of like, if I kind of know what to expect, or I just want to know this before I'm willing to try it. The blog accomplishes 2 things. It can help you answer all those questions. And it also shows them, if you're providing valuable information, that you care and that you understand them. So it's valuable information to them, which is great, and hopefully overcomes the intimidation and allows that you to get them in the door. But you're building trust, essentially. Like, they get that you're answering their questions. For you, there's the SEO aspect of it, because it's fresh content on your website. And most of the time, if you're answering the questions that they're asking, that's going to give you the keywords and key phrases that they're searching. So
Hmm.
the SEO aspect of that is great. The other part of that is, if you are linking to your blog because it's valuable content from your social media. Now you're getting more eyeballs on your site, and Google and search engines love that as well. So it's just more traffic, more reasons for people to go visit your site, and just help you overall with growth.
Right. So you're saying, so for those who don't know, and you don't need to be a marketing expert, but SEO,
Yeah.
search engine optimization, that's going to
Yeah.
be people searching for you. We're we're lucky enough where Aurelia is the town that the gym is in. So I'm
Yes.
CrossFit Aurelia. So that's always going to put, and if anyone listening is the same way, that's always going to put you at a leg up because
Yep.
people will search those things. As you said, your gym didn't have a location attached to it. So you are at a bit of a disadvantage when it comes to organic Google searches.
Yep.
So you're saying then blogs can be a way to help you very cheaply rise in the Google rankings.
Yes. Another one too that helped out is just like this is a random tip, not even really content related, but we had our daily WOD on the website, and
Okay.
we didn't release it in our app until the morning of. So if members wanted to see the workout the night before, they had to go to our website, which drove traffic up exponentially. So that
Okay.
was very helpful to continue having high website traffic for us. But there are also ways around that, like Together We Rise CrossFit was the name of my gym, and so in the blogs there are ways to include sentences that will say like, so if you're looking for a gym in Fishers, Indiana,
Right.
because you're using the search terms that people are going to look for, and there are also ways in the copy on your website that you can put in these key phrases that people are searching for that show the area you're in. I don't how populous is your area? Are you surrounded by other CrossFit gyms, or are you kind of on an island?
We're not where there's so our town has 36,000 people.
Okay.
There's two affiliates in town. And then the next one is about an hour north of me. And then in the town south of me by 20 minutes, I think there's three affiliates now.
Okay. Okay, so that's nice. There's a gym out in our area that's probably 30 minutes outside of the what we call the Loop in Indianapolis. It's kind of like the area where metropolitan Indianapolis is.
Mhm.
Um, he's 30 minutes outside of there on an island. Anyone who searches CrossFit is going to his gym because
Yeah.
and that's such a great benefit. My gym, on the other hand, had in 2 minutes in any direction, there was another CrossFit gym. I mean, I think there were like 7 within a 5-mile radius. And so you and I have completely different strategies on that. And you're right. You have the leg up because that's in your name.
Mhm.
CrossFit Indianapolis was already taken when I got into the game. So that doesn't mean that, well, I mean, I just like guess I was dealt a really crappy hand, and I just maybe my gym will grow, maybe it won't. No, you just have to be smart about your content plays then, so that you could drive, or let's use my gym as an example. If I can drive more traffic because of my content
Mhm.
than the gym down the road that is called CrossFit Indianapolis, that's just getting that natural traffic, I'm winning that game, right? Because I'm higher on the search rankings than they are, just due to fresh content on my website and doing the right things to increase my search engine ranking. And if you ever get emails, gym owners, by the way, that are like, hey, I can help you be number one in your rankings, just
Ignore them.
don't do it. Yes, it happens all the time that people are like, yes, I can help you increase your SEO and put you number one. Just that's not a thing. So don't fall for that.
So, but yeah, like I think you brought a good point back to the beginning about like why CrossFit's important, or not content's important, excuse me, is because in more populous cities, so for where I'm recording currently, Toronto would be the biggest populous city closest to me, and in Canada, 4 million people.
Yeah.
Um, there's I don't even know how many affiliates are down there, but that's why it's important then to set yourself apart from others, just in to say like, it's not about who you say yes to. We want to say yes to everyone, but maybe you can start by saying who we would say no to.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, if you're defining your target audience, and it seems too overwhelming to narrow it down, that's a great starting point. Who do you not want in your gym? You know, I love that. That's a great question.
Hmm. So you have a background in PR.
Mhm.
I I don't know if I even have told you this, maybe I have, but I used to write for a boating magazine.
Okay. No,
I
you
used
haven't told me
I
that.
used to do boat reviews.
Okay.
So I like writing. I'm not great at it. That's what editors are for, but
Okay.
I can string an idea down. But I like being creative, but writer's block is a real thing.
Mhm.
So now, as we think about affiliate owners, usually used to doing everything
Mhm.
and either are not creative or just can't be. They say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I love this. They're taking notes. I'm going to do this tomorrow afternoon. And then, uh,
Yep.
so what's a good thing that someone could do or hire that's better than nothing?
So it's so normal and to be like, I haven't posted in a while. I should make a post today. What the hell should I post about? I haven't written a blog in a while. I should make a blog. What the hell do I write about? Like, that's so normal. Um, and my answer, as someone who writes for a living, might surprise you, but ChatGPT is your best friend. Um,
Yeah.
Literally, a simple prompt like, I am a CrossFit affiliate owner. What does my like, or you can even put in, if you know your target audience, that's even better. But let's say we're just going to go general. I am a CrossFit affiliate owner and I am looking to write some blogs. What would be the top 10 blog topics that people would want to hear about? And ChatGPT is going to be like, here are the top 10. Would you like me to write the blogs for you? And the answer, if you are really struggling to even write, is yes. But do not copy and paste those blogs to your website then, because the newest Google update is very focused on tracking down the people who are copying and pasting from ChatGPT. It recognizes content, and you might be like, how does it do that? I don't even know how it does that.
Yeah.
But it can recognize when something is AI generated, and you will get severely docked for that. So it's funny. Like, let's say that you're one step ahead because you're posting a blog and getting fresh content. You're now two steps behind because you posted an AI generated blog. And not to mention, if ChatGPT has said the same thing to another gym owner and they have done the same, now you've posted the exact same blog on two different sites and it's AI generated. So now we're
This
in the
is
hole.
completely aside. I like to use Google Gemini versus ChatGPT.
Yes. Yep.
I wonder if Google Gemini would do that to Google. Like, would Google flag its own? That's just a
Yeah, I'm
complete.
sure it's AI generated. So yes, it can
Okay.
definitely recognize that. Yep.
But it's its
And no
own
matter what,
offspring.
I know you would think that it would have overlooked that, but
Yeah.
I mean, you can recognize that, and it doesn't matter how many prompts you put in that are like, make this sound friendly and in a like I'm talking to a friend, or it's still recognized as AI generated content. So what I'm saying is, if you're like, I need 10 blog topics, cool, yes. Would you like me to write it? Cool, yes. Copy and paste into your own, however you want to edit it, a Word doc or whatever, if we're old school, um, and then change it to sound like you.
Yeah.
Your Change it to sound like if I was sitting down in front of you in a consultation. How would you? What words would you use? What sounds like you? Um, but honestly, like, most gym owners that I've spoken to are like, I don't want to do this at all. So that's hence the whole full send content lab. It was like, let me do
Right.
this for you if you want it outsourced.
And so I'm trying to pull that up. Bam, bam. Let's see if this is working. Oh, I gotta do this. Bam.
Oh,
So look at that.
bam.
So I mean, not to make this is not like, hey, we're gonna give Monica free advertising, but I mean, like, why not? Because like,
Hopefully, we've given enough information to this point that if they're like, I'm going to do this myself, they have everything they need.
well, and done is better than perfect, right? It's like back to
Yeah.
the beginning of affiliate owners feeling like they have to do everything. I'm an affiliate owner. I have to do everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm on a mission to do nothing now.
Yep.
So what's the content package here that's available?
Yeah, so essentially I offer 2 tiers of services with creating content. This is the first tier, and it's like the basic package to
Yeah.
get gym owners started with the essentials of what they need. And then the other tier is custom content. So that's designed specifically and written specifically for your gym. And that kind of this goes into the basics of like your blog, your social media, and a few of my favorite like email templates that, will help increase revenue and retention in your gym. The custom side of it is if you're like, I need specific workflows created, like if you have push press and you use grow, I need specific workflows created. Or I need whatever, I have an email campaign in mind, I want to create a newsletter, things like that, where it's
Mhm.
more specific to the gym. That's custom content. This package here is essentially saying like, I don't have the time to create any of this myself, but I realize the value in it and that there will be ROI from it, on the SEO side of it, but also just bringing in new leads, getting more eyeballs on your website, having people look at your social media and be like, I should check this place out. Um, so with this content package, it's essentially you get a blog every week. It is pre-written content, but the nice part about it is that just like we talked about, if Google sees the same blog on, let's say, Matt, you're using this content package right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
trying to pull up. So go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
and if there's another gym owner, which the other gym owners I have on this same package, obviously what we want is not for Google to see the exact same blog on both of your websites or on 5 or 7 or 10 different websites. So there are parts in there where we change the gym name. What Google likes to see is a custom intro and a custom outro, and then all of the information in the center it can totally be the same, and it won't dock you on SEO. So it's essentially like you get access to this Google folder that says, if it's June right now, this is your June content. It will give you a content calendar, which do you want to pull that up, Matt, or do we want to give it away for free?
Yeah,
Or
we're giving away the gusto here. It should
okay,
be.
so if you
Oh,
pull
one
up
second.
that June content calendar,
You keep talking because it opened into a new tab, so I'm trying to
okay, no
bounce
worries.
around. You keep going.
So it'll have a content calendar. And essentially, what that is you are looking at the month of June, and it will say on June 5th, which is today when we're recording this, you are going to post this. And it is going to be a suggested image for your social media. And then the copy is written for you. So all you have to do is copy the caption, you choose the image from your gym, and then paste it to your social media. It will show you once a week when your blog is being uploaded or when you're going to copy and paste the blog to upload to your website. And then if there are any other random things, like if you choose to do Google Business Page, which I highly recommend, you can use some of those social post captions and things like that for your Google Business Page. So as you can see from the calendar, it is literally like on June 1st, here's your blog. This is the
Mm,
blog that I've written. You copy and paste. Matt did it on Sunday. He said it took about 5 minutes. And
if that.
then the like Monday on this example, June 2nd, blog post. Wednesday, sorry, social post. Wednesday, social post. Friday, social post. And this is designed as like a bare minimum recommendation of how you get started. Now, if on all those days that are empty, you want to also put other things, you have an idea, or like I saw Matt the other day, you had one mixed in with the ones that I had suggested from the content calendar. I mean, the world is your oyster. There's no such thing as too many. You
Well,
can you
even
can
to
do
cut.
one.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. There
No, you're
is
fine.
the gentleman doing a bar muscle up. I took the caption that you gave me,
Mhm.
and then I was like, I want to post this picture because generally those types of pictures of like someone doing a first gets great engagement.
Yeah,
And then I just added a slight little like it leads to this. So part
yeah,
of the idea is like, again, for me, someone who is creative, is getting a package like this allows me to be more creative and there's the irony of it is like, okay, this gets me started and like, oh, I have a picture that's perfect for this, or I'm going to tweak this because of this is what's happening in my gym currently. So
Yep.
it removes the barriers or obstacles of of saying, I'm too busy, too stressed, too overwhelmed, whatever, and I'm not going to do it at all.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to get someone, a social media manager to do it, a student, a coach, a neighbor, a friend. Even giving them this package ensures that it gets done too.
Yeah, and I mean, you know your gym. So these are designed to be, if you put zero thought into it, it's still going to be good. It's still going
Right.
to get you what we want. But I love the fact that, like you said, you can customize it. To give you a good example of that, I think the suggested image for that one where you put a bar muscle up said, suggested image, someone doing an accessible movement, not a snatch or bar muscle up. And I love the fact that you're like, but in my gym, I get good engagement on things like this. So you were like, a muscle up is a good example. And I saw the comments on it. People were like, Dave, is that
Yeah.
Dave? They were,
Yeah.
Dave, good job, Dave. Hey, that's amazing. Keep it up. And like, that's great. That's exactly what I want. Is you know your gym enough. Now you could also be like, I have a gym that doesn't, they aren't a CrossFit gym. They're a functional fitness gym,
Sure.
and they don't do bar muscle ups. They don't do snatches. So you know your gym better than I know your gym. If you're
Right.
like, this seems like the suggested movement is this, we don't do that here, then adjust it as needed. I mean, you know better. But the whole point is you didn't have to sit down and think of the topic and write the words of it. You can just copy and paste, and then if you want to make adjustments, you can.
Well, it's the don't throw the baby out with the bathwater thing, right? It's just the same
Yep.
reason when people say they like to do their own programming because of this, and this. And it's like nobody, it's like I know what equipment I have and what my members need. And it's like, that's great. But getting something done for you to start with allows you to get it done so much faster and with
Yep.
greater efficacy. I still go in that we follow CAP, have since day one. I still
Mhm.
go in and adjust it weekly. It takes me, 10 minutes, if that. And then it's
Yep.
been the same thing with this content package. It allows us to be more unique ourselves because you've gotten us started on the right hop.
Well, and the other thing I would add to that is the content package is designed to be what I believe in is the 80-20 rule with, if you've ever read the Gary Vee book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, it's like 80% of the time we are providing valuable content or things that people want to see or that they may engage with. 20% of the time we are then allowed to ask for their dollars.
Mhm.
And so it will give you, your fourth post, I believe, is linking to the blog because we want to get people back to the blogs. What we don't just want them on the website and hopefully people will see them. We want to proactively get people to go to them. But then the fifth one, out of every five, is some sort of call to action, because that's the thing a lot of gym owners are missing too, is like, if you want people to give you money or to refer their friends, you have to ask them to do that. They're not
Right.
just going to be like, they're not going to get out of bed one day and be like, you know what, how can I support my gym better today?
Mm.
So it's
Right.
like, if that call to action is like, it's bring a friend week, or it's, if you've got different tiers of membership, it's, we're doing a promo on, upselling them to the next tier of membership, or we've got a bunch of, we're doing a supplements bundle. And so if you bundle all these together, you can get 20% off. I'm asking for your dollars. And especially for non-members, I'm asking you to come in. Maybe there's some sort of special on onboarding or things like that. But unless we are making specific posts clearly doing the call to action, then you can't just expect them to know how they're supposed to give you their dollars.
Yeah, and I have the blog up here. We've got 25 views in a week, and it's like that's 25 views that weren't on my website originally.
Yeah, and we haven't done the social posts to promote that yet.
Right. And so how do I get back to that? Remove, boom. All right. So yeah, and even to that point about like including the ask and why the ask is so important. It's different than like sign up to like a call to action and an ask are two different things. Is that right?
Yeah.
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 So a call to action would be like sign up today or join us today. I feel like at least me as a consumer, if I constantly see sign up today, join today, sign up today, join today, that gets inundating.
Yeah.
But when you include an ask or an offer, there's I feel like a certain secondary intangible of the community who already engage with your gym, like meaning your customers are like, wow, we got a lot going on.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
right is like maybe then we think of the monotony of just what is owning an affiliate as like we can coach every day or almost every day. We can work out every day or almost every day. We see the same people every day or almost every day. And then sometimes, and I used to coach gym owners, like I would talk to them and they're like, I don't understand what happened. I'm down to 50 members. They're the
Yep.
same core group of people, but
Yep.
I just don't, and like they can't pinpoint it to any one thing. And I didn't think about this till right now, but it's like, well, maybe even you're not creating the perception that a lot is happening. So,
Sure.
so if nothing's happening, then what are the people going to be inspired to bring their friends in to see?
So and you have to make that step really easy for them. So let's say that all week long, let's say you've got an upcoming Bring a Friend week,
Mhm.
and all week long in every single class, your coaches are rocking and making sure that they are like, don't forget, Bring a Friend week. Don't forget. Okay, that's great. And all of your members know that it's coming. But what you are asking them to do is remember after class to go home and invite all their friends. Posting something like Bring a Friend Week on social media is the easiest way for me to tag my friends now or
Right.
send it to them like send it to their DMs and remind them instead of me texting them or and most importantly trying to remember after class. I know coach told me in the class, once I get home I have the rest of my day and I'm not thinking about the gym and I forget to tell all my friends, but if I'm seeing it on our social media now, I'm tagging my friends, I'm sharing it with my friends because that's super simple. But guess what? That engagement now is helping with us now as gym owners because the next time we post, we've already gotten a lot of engagement. The algorithm loves us, and now it's helping for future posts.
Well, you could even, and then this is where it's like, I feel like sometimes maybe folks, especially in the gym world, because they're entrepreneurs, but not like born and bred entrepreneurs, almost like forced by design because I took over this gym or bought
Yep.
it or whatever.
Yep.
There are no rules. There's no, or you get to make the rules because it's your game. So I just thought of like, okay, we're gonna do an ask of Bring a Friend week. Tag your friend. So you
Right.
tag your friend. For every friend that you tag that showed up could be entered to win their first month free.
Sure.
Boom, right? And it's like
Yep.
there's something that costs $0, just a free membership, but it could increase your leads as well as we've gotten 60 leads one week from Bring a Friend week, but only 20 showed up. So it's like we
Right.
still have a gap that we have to close in our execution.
Yep, or have people share it with their friends and ask their friend to follow the gym because right now their friend is probably not getting your content when you're putting it out there. But if your friend is now following, that could be something too. Like they don't even have to show up yet. Right now we're just doing a contest where we're giving something away. If your gym has like let's say sauna or cold plunge or some kind of recovery Normatec boots or something like that, we're giving away a week of services for any friends of yours that follow our account. We're just all of
Mhm.
our new followers this next upcoming week. We're gonna be entered into a drawing for something that doesn't cost your gym, much. So,
Right.
but now they're seeing your content or subscribe to your email list or things like that.
For sure. And so part of this is like, hey, we're showing or given this package, we're showing it to everyone. So you have to be on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, um, there's a video option, watch that. But I'm going to be using this package throughout the summer for folks to follow along, and then we'll touch base again and see where it went to, because maybe then it's saying, okay, well, because the 199 that is in US dollars, so it'll be just
Yep.
over 200 bucks Canadian, but two members a month from your content is
No, not at
not
all.
an unreasonable ask for. And then we would have to look at is are you engaging with the people or the leads that you're getting? But we will see, like, hey, so if someone's following CrossFit Aurelia, like, you can, maybe I would almost challenge them to see, can they pick out the posts that you make for us and that we post? That would be a cool challenge. But then saying, okay, I see what's happening. I need to do this for my gym. The back to that, like, I have to do everything. There's also the secondary aspect of like, oh, well, someone's already doing it, so I don't want to do the same. But Stu Brower tied me on to good artists create, great artists steal.
Absolutely. I love Stu's work. Yep. I totally agree. I mean, the thing is, if there is someone, the chances of someone following two CrossFit gyms in completely different cities is pretty slim.
Yeah,
Now, that's a good problem for me to have if I start signing up all of the CrossFit gyms right around your area.
sure.
Now I have to get creative with that. But I don't have any gyms even in the same states. Like you're the first Canadian one, so like I don't even have gyms in more than two different countries right now. So there is no crossover. Like the SEO aspect we already talked about. We want to make sure that we are playing the way Google wants us to play for the blogs. But on the social content, the chances of somebody following your gym as a lead. Now, it might be an affiliate owner, and yes, they might see your content being similar to theirs, but they're not looking to join it. They're not your target audience. Doesn't matter. Your target audience is the people who are potential members for your gym, and the crossover is negligible.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. This is a specific, and we haven't talked about this. This is going to be a CrossFit Canada podcast offer.
Okay.
If someone's still listening at this point and they're interested, they're going to sign up for your content package. Minimum 60 days, right? So minimum 60 days. If you listening or watching do not see the ROI, the return on investment, I will give you your money back.
Wow.
So there's zero. You have to do the work. You have to post the content, and Monica will follow your gym and see it. But because then what we can do is, if again you're listening, we'll have you on the podcast with Monica, and we can talk about it and show the engagement. Because then the more we talk about it and interact with it, the more other gyms watching from their backs to the wall, like a high school dance, will say, okay, I'm going to get involved. I don't want to miss out on this as well. But there's zero reason why you can't see a return on investment on it. And you have to let go of the, I need to be the one doing it. I need to be the one creating it. It's no one will notice. It's the no one. What's that viral trend? Anyway, nobody's going to know. They'll know. Nobody's going to know. Or just give it to someone to do for you. And that's the easiest way to hire a social media manager. Give them a content package to manage. And then you don't have to worry about like, oh, they stopped doing it. And then you have these feelings of resentment towards them for so long.
Yep.
And then you have a shitty conversation that has to be had.
Well, honestly, like if you're contemplating hiring a social media manager, before you do that, which is the expensive route, I think. I mean, maybe you're trading for a membership, but if they're going to do it correctly, hire someone who's good. Start by trying this content package yourself, because as you said, if it's 5 minutes on a Sunday to upload a blog or whatever day of the week that you choose, if you decide to, alter your days a little bit, that's totally fine. But you might find that like I was going to pay someone for hours and hours to do this for me. And this doesn't take very long at all, 5 minutes out of every other day of my week. And that's it. Second step then would be if you do it for a week or two yourself and you're like, okay, I want someone to handle this, then now you know what you're hiring for. You're like, this is going to be a 5 hours a month job for somebody else, because they're also going to be doing some other posts for me or putting together a photo vault for me or things like that. But before you spend the money to hire a manager and give them this package, just start with the package and see what you can do yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you might find too, like the one thing I want gym owners to know is this could be a starter package for you to just learn how to do it. So if
Work
you,
on
for
your
the 60 days,
weaknesses.
yeah, if for the 60 days you're like, I'm going to try this. Now I see kind of the rhythm and flow, but I love being creative. I want to try this myself. Then that's cool. This could be a start for you to figure out how to do it. And then you take it take it all on your own. Or you could be like on the custom side of it, now I see the value of content and I want it all done custom for my gym because I have all these other ideas. And then we look at that route. But either way, it's kind of just like a way to dip your toe in the water.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So, and yeah, like best way to improve your overall business fitness is to work on your weaknesses. It's not to belabor them either, but to work on your weaknesses and know where
Yep,
you're going from there. So,
for
where can
sure.
people find you, follow you? I mean, someone the other day was like the show notes. I'm like, am I supposed to be doing show notes? But
No,
I'll at
there
least
was
I'm
a show note somewhere.
sure. No, like in like the on like YouTube, there's a whole. Everyone now has these
Oh,
whole like full transcripts. I just do a little caption. I'll include your business in that. But for someone
yeah.
who's listening, just where can they find you to
Yeah.
get a hold of you?
So, I mean, on Instagram, Full Send Content Lab. On if you're just what I would say is if you're interested in the content package, you can't yet just go to the website and buy it. So just set up a consultation with me. My website is fullsendcontent.com, or you can do monicahilton.com. They go to the same place. And just click on schedule a consultation. We don't necessarily need to do a call. I know you're busy. I understand back in the day when I owned a gym, it was like schedule a call. I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But just fill out the consultation information. I will email you and we can decide how you want to get started with the package. And then it's super simple. Literally, it is you will have access to this folder of content with the calendar, with the blogs, with the social content that's constantly uploaded, and we'll go from there. So I'm trying to make your life easier, not add lots of steps to your plate.
That's the way to do it. And on
Yep.
that note, 3, 2, 1, time.